My name is Travis, and I spent the last 15 years doing what I thought every good man should. Working hard, loving my wife, raising my kids, and fixing whatever the hell broke down around the house. I wasn't rich. Far from it. I fixed heating and AC units for a living. 12-hour days in the Texas sun, most weeks 6 days straight. But we lived okay. We had a small place in Garland, decent schools for our 2 boys, and a 2015 Nissan Altima my wife Shannon used to get to work. She worked reception at a dental office. 9 to 5, stable, predictable. Just how I liked it. I met Shannon when I was 25 and stupid. She was working the bar at a honky-tonk I used to drink at with the crew. Blonde, sharp-tongued, and somehow she made me feel seen. We got married 2 years later. The kind of quick wedding you throw together in someone's backyard with folding chairs and a cousin on the grill. It wasn't glamorous, but I meant every damn word I said that day. Through sickness, health, broke, tired, all of it. The years rolled by like trucks down I-30. Life got busy. Kids, bills, oil changes, leaking sinks. We weren't in love like teenagers anymore. But we were a team, or so I thought. We bickered sometimes, money mostly. She'd say I never wanted to go anywhere, that I was always tired. And I was. I gave everything to keep our life running. But the cracks, they start small, real small. You don't see them at first, just little things. Her laughing more at her phone, dressing a little different, caring more about her appearance, even on weekends. I chalked it up to midlife stuff. Hell, maybe she was just feeling better about herself. I was happy if she was. I wanted her happy. I had no idea what was really going on. It started with the car, that damn Altima. It had been acting up, something with the brakes, or so she said. I told her I could take a look at it over the weekend, but she was in a rush. "I can't wait till Saturday, Trav," she said, already halfway out the door. "I need it now. I'll just take it to the shop near my office." I didn't think much of it. She'd always been a little impatient, and I didn't have the energy to argue. She took it to some local mechanic, said his name was Dean, and came home raving about how fast and professional he was. "He even gave me a ride back to work so I didn't have to Uber," she said, grinning like it was some 5-star hotel concierge service. I remember feeling a weird pang in my chest. Not quite jealousy, but something colder. The way she talked about him, like he was some kind of hero for fixing her damn brake pads. It just didn't sit right. But I didn't say anything. You don't want to be the insecure husband, right? So I let it go. Then it happened again. The AC in her car stopped blowing cold air. Now that I could have fixed in 10 minutes. Hell, it's my job. But she didn't even tell me, just said casually at dinner, "Dean's going to check the AC tomorrow." I looked up from my plate and asked, "Why the hell wouldn't you tell me first?" She gave me that look, the one where her face shuts down and she talks like a customer talking to a rude cashier. "Because you're always tired. I didn't want to wait 2 weeks." 2 weeks? I hadn't taken a break in months. I was doing everything for this family. I didn't say anything, just nodded and kept chewing. But inside, it burned. After that, I started noticing more. She was on her phone constantly, but turned the screen away when I walked by. She started wearing more makeup to work, even on casual Fridays. One Saturday night, I went to kiss her, and she flinched, said she was tired, said she had a headache. But she never flinched before. One day I picked up her phone by mistake, same model as mine, and the screen lit up with a message from D. All it said was, "Had fun today, you looked amazing." My throat dried up. I didn't unlock it, I just set it down, and she snatched it off the table like a teenager hiding something from their parents. I should have confronted her. I should have demanded answers. But I didn't. I convinced myself it was nothing, just a flirty mechanic. She wouldn't do that. Not Shannon. Not after everything we built. I told myself what every fool tells himself, it's probably innocent. Except it wasn't. And deep down, I already knew.
I didn't plan to follow her. I swear I didn't. But that Wednesday morning, she left the house in jeans that hugged her in a way she hadn't dressed for months. Full makeup, hair done. And she'd sprayed that vanilla perfume she only used on special occasions, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. I told her I'd be working from home that day, and she gave me a tight smile. Don't wait up. I might stop by Target after work. But something about the way she grabbed her purse and rushed out. I couldn't sit still. I waited 10 minutes. Then I got in my truck and followed her. I stayed back, careful not to get too close, heart pounding like I was back in Afghanistan clearing a house. She didn't go to her office. She drove right past the highway exit, then took a sharp right onto a road I hadn't seen her take before. 15 minutes later, she pulled into this small auto shop. Red brick, faded signage, one of those places you only go to when you know the guy personally. Dean's Auto. There it was. I parked down the street behind a dumpster. Engine off, windows cracked. She got out. She wasn't carrying anything. No keys, no paperwork, no excuse. She walked straight into the side entrance like she'd been there 100 times. A tall guy with grease on his hands met her at the door. He grinned, said something, and she laughed. That laugh she used to save for me. Then she kissed him. Not a quick peck, not a mistake, a long, deep, shameless kiss. Her arms wrapped around his neck like she belonged there, like it was routine. I sat there frozen, like someone had poured cement into my chest. The woman I loved, the mother of my kids, my wife, making out with some sweaty mechanic in broad daylight like it was nothing. Then they went inside, and the door shut behind them. I sat there for 45 minutes, maybe longer. I didn't even realize I was crying until I tasted salt on my lips. My fists clenched so tight my knuckles turned white. I thought about storming in, screaming, beating the guy senseless. But what would that fix? She already made her choice, and it wasn't me. I drove home like a ghost. I didn't even remember the road back. Just the image of her lips on his neck burned into my brain. That night, she came home with a bag of Target snacks, like nothing had happened. "They were out of what I wanted," she said. "You want popcorn?" I looked at her and smiled. "No, thanks. I already ate." And I knew. The next move was mine. I didn't scream. I didn't punch him. I didn't even say her name. I just stood there, holding the wrench like it was the only thing keeping me from collapsing. My wife, my fucking wife, half-dressed with oil-streaked cheeks and that look in her eyes I hadn't seen in months, and it wasn't for me. She looked alive with him, laughing breathlessly, her hand on his neck like they were in some romantic goddamn movie, instead of the garage I built with my bare hands. My mind couldn't process it all at once. It came in waves. First confusion, then disbelief, and then the gut punch of truth that knocked the air out of me. She was cheating. And not just once. Not a mistake, not a drunken regret. This was something ongoing, comfortable, familiar, planned. The way she touched him, the way he didn't even flinch when he saw me, like they had already talked about what they'd do if I ever found out, it made my stomach twist into knots. I wanted to rip the whole damn place apart, but I couldn't move. My boots felt like they were bolted to the ground. And then she spoke. Not with shame, not with guilt, but softly. Like I was the intruder, like I'd interrupted something sacred. "Jake, I was going to tell you," she said. That sentence shattered me more than anything. As if telling me would have made this betrayal less real. As if confession could rewind the hours he spent with his hands on her skin while I was out working, providing, surviving. I left without a word. Just dropped the wrench and walked out. I could hear him calling after me like we were friends. "Jake, man, it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought, and worse, because I trusted them both. I let him into our home, shared beers with him, listened to him bitch about work. I opened the door, and he fucked my wife behind it. The silence in my truck on the drive back was deafening. No radio, no GPS, just the sound of my own breath and 1,000 shattered pieces of my life rattling around inside me. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't go home. Not to her. Not to that lie of a marriage. Not anymore.
I drove for hours with no destination, just the kind of blind fury and heartbreak that makes a man forget he hasn't eaten, hasn't slept, hasn't even blinked right since his world cracked in half. I ended up at an old fishing spot my dad used to take me to when I was a boy, back before life became about bills and back pain and broken trust. I sat there for what felt like years, watching the sun bleed out across the lake, trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do next. Every scenario played out in my head, some loud and violent, some pathetic and tear-stained, some where I just disappeared and let the world forget I ever existed. I didn't call her. I didn't answer her texts. I didn't want to see her face or hear her voice or listen to one more sorry-ass excuse about how she felt alone or didn't mean for it to go that far. That's the thing no one tells you. Cheating doesn't just steal your partner. It steals the version of you that believed in them. I wasn't just mourning my wife. I was mourning the idiot I used to be. The guy who'd bust his knuckles open fixing HVAC units in 100-degree heat just so she could drive a car with working AC to her goddamn boyfriend's garage. I got back into town late the next day. The house was quiet when I walked in. She must have taken the kids to her sister's or maybe just didn't know when I'd show up. I stood in the living room, the same room where we'd opened Christmas presents, where the boys took their first steps, where I held her on the nights my PTSD made me sweat through the sheets. Now it felt like a crime scene. I grabbed a few things, tools, boots, my old army duffel, and left, without leaving a note. I didn't know where that. Not anymore. She reached out for weeks, begging, crying, telling me it was over with him, that it didn't mean anything, that she wanted to fix what we had. But what we had wasn't broken. She broke it, with her lies, with her hands, with the way she looked at another man like I didn't exist. I stayed gone, moved into a buddy's place for a while, then got my own apartment. Small, quiet, no pictures on the walls. I saw the kids on weekends, made sure they had everything they needed. I didn't tell them the truth, not yet. I just told them sometimes people grow apart. But one night, my oldest looked at me and asked, "Did Mom do something bad?" I couldn't answer. Just hugged him and said, "She made a mistake." The words felt like acid on my tongue, but he didn't need to carry my weight. That was mine. Therapy helped. Not right away, but eventually. It taught me how to stop blaming myself for her choices. It taught me that betrayal says more about the person who cheats than the one who gets cheated on. I started running, lifting again, eating like I gave a damn. I found myself in the silence. No more guessing, no more lies. Just me, raw and real. A man who had seen the absolute worst of war and somehow still found heartbreak harder to survive. But I did survive. That's the part that matters. Not because I forgave her, not because I got revenge, but because I rebuilt. On my own terms. Stronger, smarter, unfuckwithable. And the next time someone tells me they love me, they're going to have to earn it. Mile by mile, moment by moment, because I've already lived through hell. And I know what it costs.